Well, hello there. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Dr. Angel Kreitz, and I am president of New Covenant University. I'm coming to you tonight teaching a class called How to Write and Publish Your Book. This has been a class that has been taught since 2005, and so we're just continuing. It's this time of year where everyone is starting to turn in their proposals for their dissertations and thesis, and so we talk about how to write a book, because what we want our students to do ultimately is turn their writings into a book that they can publish and present to the general public, and it's not boring like typical dissertations and theses. So we're writing that tonight. I hope that you benefit from that. If you do, please like, comment, share our video, and message me and give me some feedback. Let me know how I blessed you tonight, or what the Holy Spirit is saying to you. If you're interested in learning more about our university, you can look us up at ncu.education. That's N as in new, C as in covenant, U as in university, ncu.education, spelled all the way out. I know that seems backwards because we're used to typing in edu, but that one was already taken. So definitely type education all the way out. Now, if you just want to ask me some questions, or if you want to contact someone in the office, you can text or WhatsApp. The phone number 615-948-2212. That's 615-948-2212. Please be mindful of the time zones when you text me. I don't want to be woken up by someone texting at 2 a.m. Don't do that. But thank you so much for joining me tonight, and we're going to talk about how to write and publish your book. You know, Dr. Paul Kreitz said, everyone has a book inside of them, and everyone has something important to share. They really do. There is a gift inside you that God has given you that people need. A book can go where you can't go, and a book can stay where you can't stay. It's so interesting because I tell you, it was not uncommon for us, or for me even now, when I go to stay at a hotel, or I'm a guest of someone, or I meet somebody at different places that I go to, I will present them a copy of a book. I think that is how we share our message. That is how we spread our message. And one year, Dr. Kreitz left a case of books per the owner's request at an Airbnb in Virginia. Well, I call it an Airbnb because that's what we call them now in 2025, but it's been a bed and breakfast since the early 1900s. This particular home was on the Underground Railroad, very historical, very nice, very popular spot in Virginia. And the owner, Barbara, said, "Hey, Dr. Kreitz, I want you to leave a case of those books so that I can give one to every guest that comes and stays." And to this day, an officer in the Coast Guard orders a boxes of books for his recruits to read every year. Every year. Now, that would have never happened had he not stayed at the bed and breakfast in Virginia, where he received a book from a lady named Barbara who owned the place. A book can go where you can't go. A book can stay where you can't stay. So it's important that you write down your thoughts, you write down the message that God is giving you, and that you become confident enough to publish those things and to put them in book form. Words are important. Some people would say right words are important, but I believe that wrong words are important too. So you have to guard what you say. But words, period, are important. Did you know that if we were created after the likeness of God, that means we were created to be creators? We create things with our words. That's why God gave you an imagination. He gave you creativity to create things. You create your own world through your words. Your words can make a difference. Your words your thoughts, your ideas, the potential, they all have the potential to change someone else's life. They can prevent them from making wrong decisions. They can heal someone who has been wounded. They can bring joy to another. They can show someone how to improve the quality of their life, and they can even inspire others to have a deeper faith. Right words that are withheld matter to God. Right words that are withheld matter to God. You get to decide how you will use your words and whether they will be remembered long after you have transitioned. You know, a large part of our legacy is left through our words. As we travel along this life, as we journey through, our words have the capability of harming or healing another person. Your legacy is what people remember of you. And I promise you, if you use your words in judgment, in criticism, that people are going to forget you. People are going to forget you. There's no legacy there. Ms. Rasheen, did you have a question? Okay, sorry. Writing a book is a great way to ensure your thoughts and words are accurately relayed and will create longevity in the remembrance of them. Dr. Kreitz wrote a book called Discovering the Power of Purpose. Do you know why he wrote that book? It wasn't to help you figure out your purpose. It wasn't to minister or to sell. He wrote that book for the sole purpose of blessing his offspring. He wanted his grandchildren to have a message that he delivered time and time again so that they would know their purpose. It has sold so many hundreds of thousands. It has sold so many books. It has been reprinted several times. And it has affected the world, I believe. A lot of people don't know it was an older book than Purpose Driven Life. It was published before Purpose Driven Life. So even if you think you're writing a book just for your grandchildren, do it. See what happens. See what God does. Take a moment now to decide why you want... Sorry, I have to decipher my notes. I need to learn to write. One moment. Take a moment to decide why you want to decide. No. Take a moment to decide why you want to write a book. If that weren't a PDF, I'd change. Keep this at the forefront of your thoughts when you are writing. That urgency to share your experiences and your ideas that is within you now may be less dominant in your mind one day than it is right now. And you will want to access your original passion for writing when you require motivation. So, maybe jot it down at the beginning of your writings. Maybe put it on a Post-it note. Say, I'm writing the book because. I'm writing this book because. And you want to stay focused on that thing. Maybe you even have a passion for helping a group of people. Whatever, or perhaps you'd like to leave something of yourself for your great-grandchildren. Whatever your reason, it is important you remember and revisit it often because only you can truly motivate yourself and it will help you to keep your focus. I have people who don't... Man, I should have let you read these notes first, Miss Lynn. I have people who have written books and they've asked me to help edit the books for whatever reason or help them write a book. And I know time and time again, they don't understand the difference between first person and third person writing. So they forget who they're writing to. It's going to help with that as well. If you have notes in front of you that you've printed out, answer this question for me. And if you don't have notes, take a blank sheet of paper and answer this question for me in writing. What are my reasons for wanting to write a book? What are my reasons for wanting to write a book?
Is that like on the brainstorm sheet?
No, it's just in the regular notes.
I don't think I had those notes.
Oh no, I'm sorry. But if you take a blank sheet of paper.
Yeah.
I emailed you the notes for today. There were two. One of them is called the brainstorming notes, and the other one is called create an outline worksheet.
Right.
Okay.
I emailed both of them to you today.
So he
That's
didn't.
your book outline, and the other piece of paper is the brainstorm.
So he
There you
didn't
go.
get the other notes. There were 3 notes.
Three?
There's 3.
Three?
I didn't get the one either.
Is it me? I'm
Really?
sorry. One says how to write a book, student notes, PDF. One says create an outline worksheet, and the other is brainstorm PDF.
Pastor Morlock, they're coming to you right now. My humble apologies.
Please forgive me. I'm so sorry if it was omitted.
No, I got 3, so
Okay.
I know they were on the calendar.
Yeah, it's called This Blonde from the UK Didn't Think to Scroll Down any further to the second line. There you go.
You're so beautiful. We have fun at NCU. Okay. Would anyone like to briefly share their answer? Anyone who doesn't normally answer, maybe? Miss Abigail, we don't really hear from you very much. Do you have a reason? And if you don't, it's okay. I don't want to put you on the spot, but okay.
My reason for writing a book would be more to help someone else that some experiences that I encountered they could avoid.
Excellent. To help someone else to reach out to others. That's very good. Thank you, Miss Abigail. I love that answer. Miss Maribel, are you with us? Are you able to answer?
Yes. Hi, Dr. Angel and everyone. Blessings.
Hi.
I've written 2 books and I still want to write more. And I believe is to empower others so others can understand God's love and His truth.
Okay. Cool. I like that answer. Anyone else? No? Okay. So let's go on. There are a million reasons we use to postpone something we have never done. Trust me. Oh, there's a million reasons, a million excuses why we can't get started. Perhaps it is because we lack knowledge of how to do the things we want to do. Maybe we feel overwhelmed or fearful of the idea of taking on something new or difficult to us. Do we experience confusion on how to even begin and stall out before we even start? Whatever the reason for not writing a book until now, it is important to begin. One of my most favorite lines when I'm facing something big is, okay, God, how do you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. And that's how you eat an elephant. Not that I'm, Bev, please, that's the first thing you heard from me. Not that I'm endorsing us eating elephants. I don't think that we should. So anyway.
After last week, Dr. Angel, you said you were becoming a pescatarian or a vegetarian.
Yes, I did. Shame on me for even thinking of eating an elephant. Well, whatever the reason for not, here is my 10-step recipe for writing a book. Okay, so we're going to use 10 bites to eat this elephant, guys. 10 steps for writing a book. Number 1, select a subject where you are an expert. Select a subject where you are an expert. Rashawn, there you are. I love the new picture. Oh my goodness.
Good evening. I'm here. I made it.
Love that picture. Thank you.
Wow.
Hi, Tim Kellogg. Thank you so much for joining me, Pastor. We are talking about how to write a book. Go back and listen to the front of this because Bev Lomax jumped on right as I was talking about eating elephants. It was quite awkward, but we've clarified now. So 10 steps to writing a book. And the first step is select a subject where you are an expert. Select a subject where you are an expert. Now, you may say to yourself, I'm not an expert on anything. You may not view yourself as being an expert, but anything that you have experienced more than once, anything that you have done and succeeded with, anything that you have studied for a number of years, you are an expert. You're an expert of you. Well, that's interesting. I think everyone can say, well, not everyone can say that they're an expert about themselves because not everyone knows themselves. So that's an expert on something. Very good. We never consider ourselves to be an expert on anything. We never realize our own brilliance, which is kind of sad if you think about it. But you are an expert and you have to figure out where that lies. Document only your convictions. What are you convinced fully about? If you are not convinced and confident about what you are writing, it's going to come out. Only document your convictions. Decide your demographic. Not all of your subject matter is going to be appropriate for your demographic. If you say, we talked about we have to decide our motivation for writing a book. Why do you want to write a book? So if you say, I want to help teenagers learn how to navigate high school, you do not want to write about adult scenarios, even though you know about them. In Dr. Kreit's book, Discovering the Power of Purpose, he touches on some other things, but he did not write on leadership within his book on purpose. Because when you're just learning your purpose, you have to take one step at a time. Don't tell somebody they're a leader. Let's figure out your purpose because you're a leader. No! Take one step at a time. Remember your demographic. Remember who you're writing to. Now, we always thought it was a good idea to write so that an 8th grader could understand and process it. For 2 reasons. Because most adults, statistically, do not get through a book. Because they want to read, but they don't want to have to think hard when they're reading. Most of the time you're reading a book, it's because you're doing it for pleasure, for personal growth. You get frustrated, you put it down if you can't understand it. That's why a lot of people, when I give my English composition class and I say, hey, do you read classical books? Most people say, no. Why? Because the words are antiquated. They don't understand all of the words. It's hard. So what do? We write to 8th grade mentality. We use simple words. We use easy to understand points. We make it memorable. We use all of our hermeneutics and homiletics to put it together so it's clever and rememberable. And it's simple and straightforward. People complete our books. Number 2, create an outline. Create an outline. Once you have decided your subject, you're going to brainstorm A to Z every single thought you have about your subject. Every single thought you have about your subject, write it down. Underneath, you're going to write subject, and then everything that you have a thought on about that subject, write it down. If you have 5 thoughts, write it down. If you have 105 thoughts, write them down. Write them all down. Take a few days, write them down. In the middle of the night, keep a notepad by your bed. Or you do what I do, pick up your phone and type in, hit that notepad app and type in your thoughts. That way it can get off your brain and you can go back to sleep. Or hit the record button and just say. Or tell your robot, I can't say the name or else it'll respond, but tell your robot, hey, remember this, or set a reminder to remember to tell me this, and then say what you're going to say. Every thought you have about that subject, record somehow. Then you're going to prioritize the ones that excite you. You're going to draw a star by the ones that you have a lot to say. And you're going to group them. You're going to draw little brackets around the ones that match, or little arrows to group them all in the same group if they have to do with one another. Prioritize the ones that excite you. Then what you're going to do is you're going to ask someone else to read a clean copy of your ideas and ask them which thoughts about this subject interest you the most. Because you're not writing a book for yourself. You already know about this subject. You're writing a book for other people. Which thoughts excite you the most? Which ones do you want to know? Everyone got that? The brainstorming step? See, so far so good. So easy, right? This is not hard at all. Okay. Step 3. By the way, you should only, by the time you're done with your list, you should only have 10 thoughts. 10 thoughts. That you cannot use lots of, well, you can. You can use lots of pictures. You should have 10 thoughts. Now, step 3, research the prioritize. Now, you may say to me, Dr. Angel, I don't have time to be researching things. We live in 2025. All you got to do is go on the TikTok, type in that little search. Don't play me. You type in that little magnifying glass, what you want to know about. You will get other people's perspectives. You'll be like, that don't sound right to me. Go onto Google. Say, is this true? I just saw it on TikTok. It'll bring up more accurate information, and chances are it'll bring up a book or two about it. Go to the library, borrow the book. Research it. Research each of those things. Now, my program If you're an undergrad, you only have to read 20 books. You only have like 10 things. So that's 10 books. And probably chances are, if you're writing a dissertation or a thesis, you're reading those 10 in your program already. This is easier than you think. Research does take the most time. You can't write a book solely based on your opinions and experiences. You can't. Research and cite other sources. Create context. Don't shortcut, and definitely fact check your examples and stories. Fact check your examples and stories. When I wrote my book, I knew what I wanted to write about. And my book, in case you don't know, is called Think Like a Queen to Be Married to a King. I knew what I wanted my book to be about, and it was based on my personal experience. But how do I put that in a vehicle so that you could understand what I was totally thinking? And I had the idea of, comparing men who were leaders with kings, because honestly, they are kings of their own little world. And when I was writing the book, it was a big thing to be the queen or whatever. And they were likening queens to people who got their nails and hair done all the time, and people who looked pristine all the time, or lived a rich, elegant life, or expected their men to take care of them. And it just made me angry, because that's exactly opposite of what queens are. So anyway, we're more than a trophy. So when I wrote the book, I researched the types of things that kings did. 15 top things that were characteristics that they all had. And I found that most kings had 12 characteristics in common. But I know that if you're a king, you're not quite the same as someone who's just a leader. So I narrowed it down to 8 things that they had in common with a regular leader. And that's when I researched. I researched all of the things that kings did, how they made decisions, how they walked in integrity, and if you read my book, you will be able to see, but I did the research on that, and I also did the research on queens and how they thought and how they acted and what they did. Fun fact on this research thing: if you are a speaker, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Again, Facebook, I'm not endorsing killing birds, but I'm just saying. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. If you're a speaker and you put together a chapter of your book and it has a little outline to it, when you speak 60 minutes, you can provide enough content for a chapter in your book. Hire someone to transcribe your sermons. Hire them. There's also, you can hire Miss Lynn. There's also something that's a little less accurate that you can do. This is a recording app. It's on every iPhone. Okay? And you can hit the record button. And then you can make it, I guess it's in my other phone, transcribe it for you automatically, although it will not do it as accurately as a transcribist.
Dr. Angel.
Yes.
You can use apps like Dragon Anywhere that do that.
Excuse me, yay for the iPhoneers.
Shut up. I love you, Miss Nasette.
That's right. Yeah, you can use, I think it used to be called Dragon Speak when I used it, but it's Dragon Anywhere. You can use several apps that will do that. So, you know, when you're teaching, set the phone down. I love when I'm speaking in front of an audience that's very interactive with me. I love turning my iPhone on because I always say things that are really good and they're not in my notes. So do that. And, you know, if you speak 10 times, Pastor David, Pastor Lisa, Mr. Todd, who else is a pastor? Pastor Morlock during your meetings on Saturday night. You can, Miss Maribel, I know you teach, you can write a book with 10 teachings. 10 teachings, that's all it'll take. Step 4, organize your research. Now I want to show you something. This is a hanging file thing. And I love Post-it notes. I have 4 of these in my office. And I'll take, this is for a project I've been working on. But what I'll do is I'll take 10 of these hanging files. And I'll put one of those topics, remember the ones you prioritized, in each file. And this is what I do. You may not do it like this, but this is what I do. I type up my research, I copy and paste, I download articles, I, you know, rip pages out of books. That's what I do. You don't have to do it. Rip pages out of magazines, whatever. I do defile books and magazines quite often if I'm going to use them, but never library books because that would be awful of me. Anyway, so I put the information, I file the information according to what the subject is about. Then I take and I spread it out. And this is how I prevent myself from repeating myself in other chapters. Because when you're writing books, you will latch on to an idea and you will repeat yourself. Miss Lynn and I just did a book. We just edited a book and we had to end up taking 40 pages out of this book. Largely because he had a thought, the author had a thought from one chapter and put it 3 chapters down in the same chapter. So what you want to do is be sure and put your information in a file. Maybe you keep separate files on your computer so you can put documents in each of those files soft copy. But I put the name of my book on here and I'm working on more than one book at a time, or I used to. And that's how Dr. Kreitz was able to produce 13 books in 5 years. Yes, ma'am.
May I just add, Dr. Angel, ma'am, that I've edited a series of books for somebody else about a year ago, and that person did a lot of copying and pasting chapters with an S on the end.
Yeah.
From one book into another, and it was literally copied verbatim. And be careful. And I have a question. What are your thoughts on hiring a professional researcher?
I don't mind it. I think it's a good idea. However, they better know the context. I don't know, or you're just going to have to research what the researcher researched. You know? For me, because when I use my book as a vehicle, okay? So I use my book to give to somebody. and I never make money on my books, not really. How much time should you devote to it, Tim? Like, as much time as it takes, but not years. You should finish a book within 6 months. But I take my book, I give it to someone in hopes that I will be able to go speak and teach and do a conference off of that. I teach marriage classes. I've taught many marriage classes. I have a whole curriculum based on my book. But if I hired a researcher to do that, I mean, I wouldn't be as knowledgeable. I guess I'm a big believer in doing my own hard work, you know, lifting the heavy stuff myself. But that's me. A lot of people don't have time for that. So hiring a researcher is fine. But I just don't prefer to do it because I like to be knowledgeable about what I wrote about. I have seen authors who have hired researchers or have even had ghostwriters. So when they're asked a question about their book, it's like a deer in headlights. So just consider that. Consider why. Do you just want it to go on a shelf and sell it? Yes. Do you want to use your book as a vehicle? Do your own heavy lifting, I think. Did that answer okay? Okay. So that was step 4, organize your research. Create an organized system. Information unretrievable is absolutely useless information. You must be organized when writing a book. You know, either create a filing system like I showed you. You could use a 5-ring binder if you want so that you can slip it into your backpack and take it to a coffee shop. You don't have to use like actual files that are bulky and hard to maneuver. You can put these clear pockets. You've seen the page protectors in a 5-ring binder and put your stuff in there. Or a 3-ring binder, 5-subject notebook. You can, like I said, do soft copy. You know, have a folder that says the name of your book, and under that folder, put in each subject, another folder for each subject. So you can do it several different ways, but be organized. Number 5, start writing. Start writing. It helps me if I write to one person. Like if I think I'm speaking to Miss Lynn about a subject, it's easier for me to just imagine myself sitting across from her and talking to her or writing a letter. There's no pressure. Sometimes if you think you're writing to the masses, you keep going back and correcting. But if I'm thinking of one person, then I'm just going to flow. Because most of the time that one person knows my heart. I'm not worried about how much, what I'm saying about filtering myself. I'm not worried about any of that. I'm not even worried about using correct grammar. Make it as conversational as you possibly can. No one likes reading instruction manuals. That being said, do not overuse your phrases either. I had a lady who twice a chapter, 3 times a chapter, would go down rabbit holes. She'd start telling a story, and then she'd say, but that's a story for another time. And then she'd tell another story, and then she'd say, but that's a story for another time. And I read her whole manuscript, and there was never another time. So I took it out. I went through and I took out all of that time, all of the times, and I rewrote a lot of her stories because she'd leave it open-ended, like there was no resolve. But I knew the resolve because she told me verbally the resolve, so I put the resolve in. And she said, nah, that doesn't even sound like me. Don't do that. You can make your book conversational without using your dialect. Leave the dialect for other writings. Number 6, step 6, evaluate your research and richness of words. Evaluate your research and richness of words. What is important to your reader versus what is important to you? Do not allow your words to create an overly detailed manuscript. For example, have you been around that couple? You know that couple. The fella, it's usually the fella that starts saying or starts telling a story, right? And he'll say, you know what? On Thursday last week, I ran into, and his wife interrupts him and says, it wasn't Thursday. It was last Wednesday or Tuesday. It was before Thursday. There's nothing that happened to you on Thursday. It was Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday, or it could be Tuesday. And I'm looking at them and I'm going, I don't care. I don't care. I forgot what we were talking about. Oh, it drives me nuts. It drives me nuts. Then he says, okay, it was on Wednesday. Last Wednesday, I went to the car wash. I went to the car wash down on Main and 45th. And she goes, no, it wasn't Main and 45th. It was Park Street and South Street. It was that one on the other side of town. Do you want to see my hair catch on fire? Just put me in front of that couple. Drives me nuts. Do not get bogged down in the details of your story. No one cares. No one cares. I wanted to know what happened at the car wash. He never got through that story. I, to this day, don't know what happened to the car wash on the story he started 8 years ago. It is unfair. When you're telling a story, don't get bogged down in the minor details. Your reader does not care anyway, unless you're setting a scene. And please do it beautifully and only once. If you're setting a scene, sure, get detailed. But no one really cares. They want to know the point of the story. Step 7. Reread and rewrite. Reread and rewrite. Wait a full 30 days before going back to complete this step. Now, let me tell you something. When you write your rough draft, you set it down and you don't look at it and you don't think about it for 30 days. Lisa, are you hearing me? You set it down. You don't look at it for 30 days. You're not allowed to. Do not break this rule. You don't think to yourself, oh, I needed to put that in there and I forgot. No. 30 days. This will help you to read your manuscript again with fresh eyes. Rewrite all the things that do not make sense at that time. Thank you, David. Thank you for hiding it. I appreciate you. Rewrite all the things that you could have worded better. You get to go through it once. One time, you get this rewrite. Miss Leslie, I get a feeling about you. You hear me? One time, you get to rewrite. Once this step is complete, you have to stop. It is a sad, sad, sad thing that authors become bogged down at this step and their book never makes it to publishing. I know a lady who is 82 years old. She has been working and rewriting the same book since she was my age. Still not published. She's been through 4 ghostwriters. Never satisfied. She's driven us all crazy. We love her. We love her thoughts. We love her perspectives. Kingdom needs it. Please don't second guess yourself because you fear critics, because you fear misunderstanding, or anything else for that matter. It's never going to be perfect. 5 years from now, when you read your book again, you're going to find something that you wish was not in there. It don't matter. Nothing's perfect. Nothing's perfect. Just keep moving. And if you're worried about being misunderstood, let me help you out with that. How many of you know what I'm going to say? You don't have to worry about it because you will be.
Because you will be.
That's right. You will be misunderstood. So no point worrying about it. It's going to happen.
Can I say something, Dr. Angel?
Yes.
I was listening to John Maxwell, Leadership, and he said in one of his books, he had already written it. And when he picked it back up, he got inspiration to write 2 more books that he thought, he was like, oh, I should have went there. I could have went there. And he said out of 1 book, he was able to reproduce 2 others. So authors, sometimes that's how things work out. You just got to trust the process.
That's right. But if he had written those things in that book, it would have been too long. So I have heard him speak on that before. In fact, this point where I say 5 years from now, you will read something in your book and you will wish it weren't in there, or you will find a mistake, that comes from him too. So I'm glad you heard him say that.
That's where I'm at now. That's why I've withdrawn my first book, because I've spotted some mistakes and I'm doing not rewriting it. I'm just doing a quick, maybe 6 edits, and then it'll be republished again.
Rock on.
Yeah.
Step 8. Notice I'm saying this is step 8. Add the parts necessary. The parts. Add the parts necessary. Number 1, your cover page. One moment. I want to show you. This is I started signing this and I didn't finish. I must have gotten distracted. This is the cover page. Some people think that this is unnecessary. It depends on what you're using your book for. If you're using it to just sell off the shelf or sell on Amazon, sure. Omit this page, that's fine. But if you are using it to sow into other people's lives in hopes that you get an invitation or it somehow opens doors for you, and I'll show Facebook, you want this page. Because this is where you can't do it on the front cover because your cover is glossy and hard to write on. So this is where you write a message that you want them to see. This is where you make friends. This is where you form relationships. This is where you write your phone number to the TBN producer of their flagship show. This is where you write a personal message. This is also, if you design it correctly, where you can place your business card. See? Okay. If you design it right, you'll be able to place your business card there. See, it comes straight. It may cover up my name a little bit, the author's name, but the author's name is on the business card too, and it's on the front cover. So I always carry in my briefcase two things. I carry multicolored Sharpies. Usually I use purple because purple's royal, and my book is already green, so I don't want them to think when I sign it that it's part of the book already. I want them to know I personally did it. And then I also take with me double-sided tape so that I can rip a piece off and throw my card in the book. Because if you just put the card in the book, what's going to happen? It's going to fall out. It's going to fall out so easy. So that's your cover page. That's number one. Number two, it says your title page, but the title page and the cover page are the same thing. So then let's move on. Oh, I'm sorry. Number one is the cover. Design your cover. I thought that was quite obvious, but I put it in the notes for a reason. Number two is the title page. That was the title page I showed you. Number three is the copyright page. It has parts like you have to type the title of your book in. I hate this. You know what? I'm going to take this down so that y'all can see. One moment. Please bear with me, Facebook. Okay. Sorry. Now you will be able to see what I'm talking about without me struggling. Okay. It's got the title. It's got the ISBN number that matches your ISBN on the back. That's a requirement. It has your copyright date. If you're like, well, how I got a copyright? Is that another step? No, it goes along with your ISBN. When you register your ISBN, you should get a copyright with it as well. And then it lists your publishing company. If you are your own publisher, there are certain steps you can take to make it self-published. This was published by our 501c3 at the time called Purpose International, and it's listed the address as well. This is not true anymore, but the way the laws are over here, if you have an ISBN, it's good for 30 years no matter what happens to the publishing company. So I hold the rights to it. And then it says, printed in the United States of America, all rights reserved under the international copyright law. It gives you a paragraph. You write the paragraph in there concerning your copyright. The next one, dedication and acknowledgments. That goes next. I had a lot of people that I was grateful for, but these were the top 3 inspirations. So I dedicated my book to these people. And then underneath it, I wrote acknowledgments. Now, I was very wise in that because I only put their first initial and last name. You may not even want to do that. You may want to just put their initials. So I respect people's privacy. And so I wanted to do that. And I just thanked them. I said, thank you for your friendship, love, and support during this project. Thoughts of you make my heart soar. You are an amazing group. And then I just listed their names there. It doesn't have to be long. I wouldn't make your dedication or acknowledgments any longer than a page. Table of contents. Please title your chapters, unless you are a #1 best-selling author. Please don't call them chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Title your chapters so that your readers can find information easily. If you're writing fiction, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, that's great. But if you're writing nonfiction, which is what I'm teaching you about tonight, title your chapters. Number 6 is a foreword. I did not do a foreword. Someone else writes this for you. Now, I saw someone who wrote a foreword in someone else's book that was 4 pages long. I don't do that. And the reason I don't do that is because every page costs more money to print. Mr. Todd, how long was the foreword I wrote for your book? Like, how long did it end up being?
Sorry?
How long was the foreword that I wrote in your book? How long did it end up being? Like half a page?
Yes, it was like about a page. Yes, about a page and a half. Yeah, about a page.
Okay.
It was, yeah, I know it was awesome.
Thank you. The reason I made it so short was not because I didn't have plenty of things to say about Mr. Todd and his book. It was because I know how much it costs to print a book. So whoever writes your foreword, tell them so that there's no conflict later. Just write a page. Just write short, powerful statements about the book and why you liked it. Because if you write a 4-page foreword because you really like the person, okay, number 1, your reader doesn't care. I'm sorry, but they don't. Most of the people who read your book will not know you. They don't care. Number 2, it costs a lot. So make the foreword 1 page and chances are people will read it. And then the last thing in the things that you need is the preface. Why did you write the book? I titled my preface, Why I Wrote This Book. Simple, clear cut. Some people skip this step. But this is the writing that caused people to read this book, order more, and think, this is so powerful. This page right here. Don't skip this step because you have a testimony and you may not necessarily write it in your book. And even if you do, it's going to get lost in the information. Just tell them right off the bat what you experienced that caused you to be motivated to write the book. And someone tell me that, okay, good, I'm doing good on time. Was worried I was talking too long about this. Why you wrote the book gives context and it attracts attention. If you're going to be controversial, if you're going to make a bold statement, do it here. Do it here. Some people become very popular because they say things that other people wouldn't say. I sure did. If you say what everyone else is saying, then you're not going to get listened to. You're not going to gain attention. Jesus was very controversial. I wrote a rough draft of a book several years ago called Audacious. Because I thought, if Jesus were around today, people would say, he has such audacity. But then I found out a book called Audacious had already been written, so I didn't publish it. About the very same thing. Step 9, edit your book. Edit your book. Have a very good editor. At least three people should edit your book. Someone who is professional and not concerned with hurting your feelings. That's the first person. Someone who is professional and not concerned with hurting your feelings.
Yay, man.
That person's going to teach you how to get rid of your offended spirit anyway. We need it.
Dr. Angel, could I ask a question, please? You said about in the front of the book about the business card. I've seen in books at the back where it will say, to contact the author and the author's socials, and then possibly listing other books that author has written.
I got that too. I put it in there twice. I'm like,
I'll
maybe
shut
that
up until you
increases.
get there.
Maybe that increases my odds. I don't know. But I just always think a card they can peel off and put in their little, like I have this card business holder thing. They can put in their wallet. They can, I don't know. I've been to the NRB where they give books away like they're water. I've seen Jonathan Kahn stand and write his name in a book.
Sure.
And then I've seen people look at it, flip through it, and be like, I don't want to read this, and dump it right there. So that's why I always put a business card in mine if I really want the person to contact me. Now, if I don't like them, I don't put my business... No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
That's why I never had your business. Oh. So, in today's age, what are your thoughts on putting socials in a book? Your Facebook, your TikTok, TikTok.
I think it's important. I think it's important to live an authentic life. And I'm gonna go into that probably on another teaching, but I think you should put all your socials on there. I also think that as a leader, you should be mature enough to know what to share and to know what not to. But I think it's important to live a pretty authentic life. There's a way of saying I'm hurting without saying, oh my God, my life is so desperate right now. But so you can be authentic, but the way when you have to be responsible for how you word it and what you say. So if you're at that maturity level where you can say, I have a social where I don't share that me and my husband fought yesterday, then you can share your socials.
Yeah, I'm talking about social media, yeah?
Right, yeah.
Okay, cool.
I've seen some ministers who share the weirdest things, Lynn. Just like if you write a book, make sure your socials match that maturity level. Anyway, I digress. There are 3 people that should edit your book. Someone who is professional and not concerned with hurting your feelings. And please understand, don't fight with your editors. Don't fight with any of your editors. Don't argue with them. Say, great, thank you. And if you decide not to take their advice, don't take their advice. But don't argue with them. They don't get paid enough for that. Actually, Miss Lynn will let you argue with her for an extra $1,000. But you only get an hour and a half.
No.
No? What is it?
$2,500.
Oh, $2,500. Sorry, my bad. She increased her rate.
For 15 minutes.
Okay. Since me, she increased her rate. I get it. The second person you should have, and this sounds weird, I know it does. The second person you should have editing your book is someone who is in the 8th or 9th grade. Slip them $100. 8th or 9th grade, have them edit your book. Why?
How old is that, ma'am?
That's like between 12 and 14.
Huh.
Why? Because at that age, they want to find a flaw. They are looking for something wrong. It is just natural for them. And if they don't understand something, they're going to tell you. And you want your readers to understand. So you'll have the opportunity to clarify it. Slip them $100 to read 60 pages. 12 to 14-year-old. That's your second editor. Have them write the questions that they have right on your manuscript. Have them circle the things they think they're wrong. Again, you can take their advice or you can leave it. Just say, thank you so much for doing that. Here's your Benji. Or whoever you have on the 100 whatever in the euro, the pound, I don't know. Do you even have 100 bill or? Oh, okay.
The highest we have is 50.
Okay. Okay. Is the queen on that one?
She was, it's now Charlie Boy. King Charles.
Got you. I got you. It's okay. It's okay. All right. So, and then the last one is another person who understands your context and understands your heart. Someone you're familiar with, not overly familiar, someone who's close to you. You want them to edit your book because sometimes they can think about things that you can add into your book that you may have forgotten about. They will make your stories richer. They will remind you of examples. Hey, do you remember when you went through this? I feel like it goes with this. Do you know how you're always saying this? I feel like that phrase would go with this chapter. Have someone do that. Remember, don't argue with them if they have a critique. Don't do it. Don't make writing a book stressful for your family. Because it's not. It's fun. It's so fun to write a book. It's easy, isn't it, Pastor Mike? It's easy. Step 10, publish your book. Self-publishing still requires an ISBN for each and every format your book is in. So if you say, I want to make a hard copy, I want to make a soft copy, I want to make an audio copy, I want to make a workbook to go along with it, I want to make a soft back, and then if you want to make a soft copy, which is like Kindle or Amazon, whatever, just on the computer or on the readers, then you're going to have a separate ISBN for each and every one of those formats. Each and every one of those formats requires a separate ISBN. Consider the size of your book when you publish. We made all of our books the same standard size. So they're about this thickness. If I had to do it all over again, I would make it this size. And I'll tell you why. Because I like the idea of it sliding into, I would make it thicker. I would make it much thicker so that it doesn't, when I store it, it doesn't wave in the heat and the cold. The smaller size, it's about the same weight, but the smaller size makes it cheaper for shipping. And it slides into a purse super easy when it's smaller and not necessarily when it's bigger this way. So if I had to do it over again, I would make it this smaller size. I would make it half the size, but thicker.
Dr. Angel, wouldn't that increase the page count?
It would increase the
And
page.
make it heavier?
No, because it's the same paper. It's the same. It's just in a different. It's just a different size. So it would be thicker, but it would be the same weight.
Actually, when I write mine, Dr. Angel, I do them in 4x6 because they can get more, when I go to the printer, they can print more out of one page, and they can like print 4 pages on their 13 by 18, and I actually get a cheaper print that way. And it's easier for me to write smaller books because I'm too ADHD, and but I write all my books in 4 by 6 except for my children's book. They're bigger.
Yep. I like that, and it's cheaper to ship because even though it's thicker, it fits in a smaller envelope, and they do count how long and wide it is when they ship it.
And again, like you said, it slips in a purse or somewhere, and somebody's sitting somewhere like getting their oil changed or whatever, they can pop that book out and read it almost,
Yep. So anyway, that's my plan for the next book. So consider the size of your book. Have your book formatted professionally. Have your book formatted professionally. Select a printer and ask for labeled samples of the paper they have in stock. Don't skip this step. When you select a printer, like I go through Dazzle Printing, they're located in the UK. But if you select a printer, call them up and say, I would like a sample book of your paper labeled, please, so that you know exactly what you're getting. Paper, a lot of people don't know this, but the price of paper fluctuates. Hi, I just want to take a minute. Hey, sis, glad to see you on here tonight. Miss you tons. Love you so much. Paper prices fluctuate, just like gas prices fluctuate. So sometimes if you're calling for a price this week, and then you wait a couple of weeks and you call for it'll be a different price. Just expect that. Don't think they're trying to scam you. That just is the nature of paper prices. We ordered what we thought, I think one of Dr. Kreit's books, we ordered what we thought was a 10-pound paper or whatever. We told them to put it on the same paper as last time. I don't know. But the paper was so thin, it made it like you could see the print through the sides. Like if I'm reading this page, I don't want to see what's on the previous side to that page at the same time. So you want to make sure to order a thick enough paper that it's not translucent of sorts. So that you may be over the phone with them and they'll say, hey, is a 10-pound paper heavy enough? And it sounds like it would be heavy, right? But a lot of times it's super thin. So going ahead and ask for labeled samples of the paper they have in stock. Also labeled samples of the type of board they use for your cover would be great too. Remember this, begin to promote your book before it arrives back from the printer. If your printer says it'll take 4 to 6 weeks for me to print 500 copies of your book, 1,000 copies of your book, say, great, that's perfect. That gives me enough time to splash it all over my social media, all over, that gives me time to talk about it. That gives me time to make a business card with the cover of my book on one side and coming soon and how to order with a QR code on the other side. Market your book everywhere you go. Market, say it's coming, it's coming, it's coming this time, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Get them excited about your book. Talk about your book. Have you ever heard of people who are in, what is that thing? Like Monavie was one that I was in, Tupperware, all those
pyramid selling.
Pyramid selling. They live, eat, breathe their product. That's what you're going to do while your book is being printed. You're going to live, eat, breathe your product. Miss Rasheen, I can't wait until you publish your book and do this. That's going to be exciting.
Like the Avon people?
Mm-hmm. No, not so much Avon people. Avon people are cooler than that. Mary Kay, I promise they're like that.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. But Avon, they're cooler, They're like, here's a catalog. You want to order something cool. Mary Kay is like, oh my God, you have so many wrinkles. Let me help with that. I don't know. I don't know how I know that. Anyway, remember to promote your book before it arrives back from the consider Amazon, social media, places of business. Man, if I worked somewhere, I would put it up on the company bulletin board. Everyone you talk to, consider creating a business card for your book to leave in different places with a QR code that leads people to a link where they can purchase your book. This is not in my notes, but I want you to write this down, and I don't know why it's not in my notes. It's in some notes somewhere. I must have a different set of notes. Your book should be between 10 and 20,000 words. Your book should be between 10 and 20,000 words. Trust me. I did the research on this, and people love the gift of completion. And people love to sit and wait for an oil change or wait for someone in the doctor's office. 2 sessions of a half an hour gives them the gift of completion. If you're really good at reading, this takes an hour at best. But it effectively changes someone's perspective. You don't have to have a 400-page book. Some of the very best books are small ones. The Fred Factor. Most of this book is the cover because it's a hard cover. It is so small, so short, and it has sold millions of copies and been used as a training book. This is a great book, but I'm hard-pressed to find anyone who has read it. Because it is so long. Because it is so long. So expensive to print. This kind of book is not for you. If you have suitcases filled with 1,000 journals and you want to put every single one of those stories in this book, we are not about writing The Art of War.
Dr. Angel, that book just kind of reminded me. Could you talk about font size and font types that would be the right ones to have?
I'm a big believer in size 12 font. But some people want 10 to fit more. I think that's too small. Some people want 14 because it's easier for people to read without their glasses on. Just consider who you're writing to. I like 12 font. Like this particular book, 10. 10 font. Mine is 12 font. And I think it's adequately large. Like I think this is a little bit bigger. I think this is 14. But this is 12. Me personally, I like using my font to accentuate certain parts of my book or to minimize certain parts of my book or, so like I'll use different sizes, but you have to determine who you're writing to. If you're writing, hey, geriatrics is for you. Right? Make your font size 18. It just depends on who you're writing to. I think, in my opinion, I like clear Arial. I like the Arial fonts. I like the Times Roman fonts. I don't like anything too kitschy, because sometimes that gets hard to read. The handwriting ones, I read a whole book. I don't have it anymore. It got on my nerves. It looked like cursive handwriting. And that got monotonous. But it's up to you, really. I resembled that remark. Cute. Pastor David is hilarious. So anyway, yes, write your book between 10,000 and 20,000 words. Make the font size. Play with it. See what works best for you. 10 to 14, I think, is a good median. When you're deciding your title, run it through AI. You can also type in popular words for the culture and then put 2025 or 2026 whenever your book is coming out and say concerning leadership. And the computer will bring up a list of words that are really popular in social media so that maybe you could use that to intertwine. When I wrote my book, queens were all the rage. It was a huge popular thing, queen. So that's why it's the big word on my book. Think like a queen to be married to a king. Tiny, tiny. But that's because this was all the popular when I wrote my book in 2015. So do that. Are there any questions?
Yes, Dr. Angel, how do you get a QR code, or how do you make a QR code?
You first have a link. My business card has a QR code and it goes to my website. So you have to have a link. Whether it's to your Facebook page, you know, copy that link or whatever. Or an Amazon page where you can order your book, copy that link, and then go on to Google and type in free QR code generator. Like I use QR codes from Canva. Canva made this for me. It was free. I have a Canva account and it made this for me. So then when you go to the free QR code generator, it'll send you in your email the picture of this and you put it everywhere. Any other questions, guys? Okay, if there are no more questions, oh, hi, Tim Brooks. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you. Go back and listen to this if you're interested in writing a book. If you enjoyed this broadcast tonight, please like, comment, share. I appreciate you guys popping on and watching. This was How to Write a Book by NCU. Talk to you next.